chance, and a few dollars to a man who typed up a poem just for you. You save the rest for a dozen fresh oysters and a Sazerac, one to feed your face, the other to feed your...
This is a shrimp po' boy. It could just be a sandwich, but today, you're in Louisiana. Today, you got up with the sun to enjoy the best bass fishing on Earth. Today, you walked historic halls where ghosts might pay a visit, but spirits are always present. Today, you wandered into a hole-in-the-wall cafe and fed your soul with a frosty local brew and this shrimp po' boy. Anywhere else, it's just a sandwich. But today, you're in Louisiana.
State lines. Today, you danced till your soul felt good and your souls ached. That ticket stub, you tuck it away as a reminder, because today, you're in Louisiana.
Not yet, no.
Hey, Carol Brooks coming back in. 28 off. Needs to run this one.
All right, folks. Know the Tri-Lake site best know that pretty much every slalom event that is typically run is run on Lake 2, and that's still the case for the most part here at these national championships. But because the deluge of entries that we've received, approaching 600 entries, we've had to move some of these slalom events, which are the more crowded, to Lake 2, and because of that, we're going to bring on our first competitor in just a few moments. In women's 9, it is going to be Shirley Coble that will have the honor of slaloming in a tournament on Lake 1 for the first time in I don't know how long. Maybe Roger Goings and Bruce Cundy. That's men 10. Then men's 9, Errol Bryant, George Herzog, Stan Switzer, and Frank Harrison. But then it starts getting a little bit more populated. You have an 11 skier group of men's 8. You have, let's have a look, of the 2020 Goode National Water Ski Championships. Martin Dock, and there's her daughter April Coble and her granddaughter Cameron Coble. All they're trying to lend their moral support to Shirley Coble, who is now getting ready, trying to cool off a little bit in. Okay, and I think it's going to be fair to say that we won't need a leaderboard graphic for Shirley Coble or for women's 9 as a matter. Now we've got it. We're good now.
Okay, Joy Kelly right there. Running her 28 off pass. This women's 6 coming back in at 32 off. She needs to run this to challenge the leader, Miss Carol Brooks out of California. She just ran 1
I think women's 9 actually has a max speed of 32 miles an hour. So, Shirley Coble on the water right now, for those of you tuning in from wherever, from around the world. A quick deep water start and a good swift pull out. It's at 22 up. Oh, whipping that ski round. Look at her go cross. That will represent the extent of Shirley Coble's effort in women's 9. That is Shirley Coble. Right. As she is the one and only competitor in that event. We'll go on to our next category. We're going to go to men's 11. These guys are 85 years of age and older. And to go with the jump skis. There was a time where he could actually get up on one ski and slalom that way, but I think, and I do say this with the utmost of respect, but I think age has kind of taken its toll a little bit upon Elgin Faulkner, at least his ability to... Here is Elgin Faulkner. Just a reminder that the Elgin Faulkner's division is 85 years and older. I don't know whether he falls deep into that older bracket, probably towards the 90s. But you got to figure that when Elgin Faulkner was born, FDR was serving his second term as president, and the Great Depression was very much still rampant, and a world superpower was rearing its ugly head around about the time that Elgin Faulkner was born. Do to surpass that. So now, let's have a look and see what we've got on our list. We've got Roger Wall. He's at the starting dock. He's taken the same route as Elgin Faulkner. He's looking to slalom his best on a pair of jumpers. Seal the deal so far as him being on top of the podium. Yes, I'm keeping. Yeah, we're excellent. George just to walk about half a mile to get from there to the starting dock area. So that's nice. It's really, really courteous. All right then, still turning buoys on both lakes. So now we're transitioning from men's 11. I believe we're going to go into our next division, which is going to be Roger going. Which leaves the big kahuna, Bruce Cundy, about to take to the water and seal the deal, provided that he gets beyond buoy number 1. So here we go. Buoys. Yeah. division. It's going to be men's 10. Bruce Cundy, and there is your schedule. We've gone through women's 9 with Shirley Coburn. We've gone through. Seven so far as slalom goes, and then we've got another batch of trickers, and that will consist of girls 1 and boys 1. So, for those of you watching from wherever you have to be around the world, thank you very much for doing so. All right, here comes Bruce Cundy around the second buoy and just couldn't really continue on beyond that. So he's going to get his gentleman-like pickup from the towboat and brought to the dock. And that is going to be the end of Bruce Cundy. Yes, you'll be able to watch it again. USA Water Ski's YouTube page. Yes. So, via an archive. Well, yes, we are establishing that. If you go to USA Water Ski's YouTube page, you'll find towards the bottom of that YouTube page an archive of the date. So not looking bad at all. I'm taking a peek over on Lake 2 and seeing. So Errol Bryant, a native of the Bluegrass State of Kentucky. Nice, and a good little knee bend there after buoy number 6, shutting it down and just getting everything situated. With that opening pass, that was Errol Bryant. All right, so Errol Bryant has gone through with his ski. This is men's 9. I believe the max speed at men's 9 is 32 miles an hour. But here we go. This is a good-looking run, and Errol Bryant now gets to go on to the next pass, which is. Okay, this now is Errol Bryant now. This is at 30 miles an hour. This is at 28 off. Getting round buoy number 2, getting slung across the back of the boat behind the Malibu. Getting round buoy number 4. Can he make the pass? A little loose into number 5, but manages to basically backside number 5. He gets around number 6. So, already into the higher echelon scores at this point in the proceedings in men's 9. Errol Bryant is about to attempt 32 off. We've got 3 other skiers to come, and they're going to be hard-pressed to match what we've seen. Okay, here we go. Errol Bryant now. This is at 32 off or 13 meters. At 30 miles an hour. Let's see what he's got. Oh. Nicely done. Look in the instant replay. a little loose coming into his 135 side, and unfortunately taking a little bit of a hit off that side as a result. But I tell you what, a score at 32 off, I don't care who you are, is going to be it's not going to be an automatic for any of our remaining skiers. And I think he might have actually made it across the back of the boat, so that could well be 5. So that is Errol Bryant. Okay, and it looks like here George Herzog is taking exactly the same route. He's going to go in at 15 off, so he'll want to have 22 off with the tailwind. And he'll be swimming back to the shore. Unfortunately there for George Herzog, just couldn't really get to grips with it. And line came tight and he just didn't have the grip. On the strength of his score of at least 4.5 at 32 off.
Getting around 2 ball there. Going over to 3.
Previous 2 competitors. Still to max speed of 30 miles an hour. So at 28 off at 30 miles. All right, Stan Switzer now getting ready for 32 off. Behind that Malibu. The Malibu Response TXI, one of the 3 towboat partners of USA Water Ski and Wake Sports. All right, here we go. 32 off. Definitely got the heart pumping at 28 off. Now 32 off is a different kettle of fish. And the course width is 37.5 feet. It doesn't take a math genius to tell you that that is an extremely short line length. With men's 9 slalom in there, we just saw Stan Switzer there. The next and last competitor is going to be Frank Harrison, and he's going to have a shot at the title. But he needs to get to 35 off first, and we see the instant replay there of Stan Switzer on the tail of his ski, just dropping off and just a little bit loose the line. But I tell you what, I don't care who you are, but getting to 35 off no matter what speed is definitely a credit-worthy achievement there for Stan Switzer. It's half a buoy at 35 off. He's the leader ahead of Errol Bryant. 1 skier remains. Frank Harrison, who hails out of California.
It's a nice day here today at the U.S. Goode Nationals, isn't it? Chad, couldn't ask. Half the people here might not be able to understand this, but man, we're having a good time. And just so you skiers know out there, when y'all ski good, give us a fist pump. We and the announcers, we want to know you're skiing well. We want to let everybody know you're happy. We're happy when you're happy. And we want you to be happy here at this 2020 U.S. Goode.
Coming in on his opening pass of 28 off. Here he comes. Buoy number 1. Oh, nicely done. Very, very well done on the opening pass. 28 off. And I tell you what, certainly a good strategy to go in at 28 off if you know that you can run it and run it competently and with relative ease. It's certainly worth going in, and it also conserves energy, so to speak. And I think even at men's 9, I think they would know all the benefits that come with that particular philosophy. So, not expend. All right, last skier in men's 9, we have got Frank Harrison. 32 off, needs to get this to go. There we go. Takes a big hard tug off buoy number 1. Keeps the ski moving on number 2. This is at 30 miles an hour away, especially buoy number 1. He was up to his knees in spray there. And Frank Harrison knew that he would be in desperate trouble unless he got on the good foot and keep that ski moving and keep the ski tip out of the water as much as he could. Because at 30 miles an hour, although it's not so fast as 32 or 34, it means that the ski reacts a heck of a lot differently. And it reacts so far as how much drag it's able to have tolerance for. And I mean, it's just remarkable, all the things that you have to consider whenever you look at high senior age division slalom skiing. All right, but here we are, folks. We're at 35 off for Frank Harrison. If he can get through the wakes and round buoy number 1 and 2 the wakes, he will win. Take another one off in the win column for Frank Harrison. So there we go, Frank Harrison, your winner in men's 9 slalom. All right, then. So, all right. Continuing to announce on Lake 1, this is Tony Lyford. On Lake 2, we thank Freddie Snell, who announced for quite a considerable amount of time, and we thank him for his assistant. We're now back with Mr. Jeff Serde, El Presidente of the American Water Ski Association. He's on Lake 2. He'll carry you through this slalom event. And and I'll tell you what, it's hot out here. It is. Yeah. Well. All right, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are continuing our coverage on Lake 1. We got a little bit of a crew switch. Might even be a boat switch. I'm not even too sure at this point, but we are going to our final 2 event categories. One of them is going to have 11 two trick events, girls 1, boys 1, and that will conclude the skiing on Lake 1. So the following skiers are on deck, getting ready to slalom. We got Roger Logan. He will take to the water first in men's 8. Then we've got Hank Combs, then Clarence McCollum. Men's 7 slalom is after men's 8, and we're on men's 8 now. 11, and then men's 7 is 24. Okay, you got.
Girls 2 tricks. All right, that's right. Okay, here we go. In 5th place from San Antonio, Texas, Olivia Mollis. Okay, in 4th place from Scott, Arizona, Jessica Withrow.
To their official website, mastercraft.com will be the place you need to go, whether you're interested in the free event, whether you're interested in hydrofoiling, or kneeboarding, or barefooting, or collegiate water skiing, or disabled water skiing. You can find all of that at USA. All right then, folks. We're continuing to move right along. We have got Roger Logan, who hails out of Mobile, Alabama. A half buoy total for Roger. Whoa. Lake. We go Hank Combs, 30 miles an hour, 15 off, looking in very, very decent shape. And, oh, through the exit gates of Roger Logan. And we'll continue to ski to the next pass. This is men's 8. And we'll continue to rock right along with this event. Go, our skier on the water. Oh, this is Hank Combs and getting around buoy number 2. And not much beyond that, I'm afraid. So it looks like it's going to be a 2 buoy count on that second run. A 2 buoy count. So with the boat speed at 30 miles an hour set as maximum for men's 8, that is a 2-buoy count at 30 miles an hour, 22 off.
Already women's 6 slalom. Women's 6 slalom award presentation.
So we just seen Hank Combs with that score of 2 to 22 off. 2 at 22 off for Hank Combs. Next competitor to go will be Clarence McCullum. All right, looks like he's starting at 28.6 miles an hour, going sub-maximum here. Okay, so Clarence McCullum at 28 miles an hour, looking in good shape. Now, he's only got one more speed to go, and then he starts shortening the rope afterwards, so he goes to 30 miles an hour next. That is Clarence McCullum. Nice effort there on the opener for Clarence McCullum. And now it's going to be 30 miles an hour. And from there, the boat speed does not change because 30.6 miles an hour is the top boat speed for men's 8. Hi, guys. This is Tony Lightfoot, transmitting all the way around the world through usawaterski.org's YouTube. Clarence McCullum go through 28.6 miles an hour at 15 off. Now this is 30 miles an hour. So 30.4 miles an hour, I do beg your pardon, which is at 49K. For those of you watching us from number 3, so it's actually going to be 2.5, my mistake. So, and at the same time we've got award presentations taking place. So congratulations to all that have placed high enough to receive a medal in the national championships. All right, so moving right along then. We have got Thomas White. Thomas White is our next competitor. All right, we got Thomas White on the water right now at max speed, which means that any pass beyond this is going to be on a shorter line. 15 off, getting strung out a little bit off buoy number 5, and manages to get round number 6, and a decent effort to get through the opening pass of 15 off. He struggled a little bit. But Thomas White. So Thomas White getting through at 30.4 miles an hour on 15 off. And I tell you what, knows how hot it is until you actually here in South Louisiana in the middle of the summer. And I think it's a wise purchase of one of those radar big sombreros. But we just saw our competitor on the water. That was Thomas. I believe that is going to be a 2-buoy count. 2 buoys at 22 off. That'll put him about mid-table right now. So right, we continue right along. We got Larry Stogner. Larry Stogner in men's 8, continuing to roll with this division. We're going through these competitors very, very quickly. As a matter of fact, we're on competitor number 5 of 11. So we're just a little way short of being halfway through this slalom event. Now, the next slalom event is going to be a little bit different because that's going to feature 28 off, 14.25 meters. A successful run here will put him in the lead. So Larry Stogner successful through 14.25 meters, 28 off. So good skiing, great effort there from our competitor on the water. So joining us back on Lake One, name's Tony Lightfoot, Jeff Surde on the opposite side of the desk, and he's got the other web stream. I've got the one on Lake One, slalom skiing. Larry Stogner, this is at 32 off. There have been a couple of competitors in our previous division category that have gone through 35 off. That was men's 9, and it looks like Larry decent looking opening pass, keeping the flow going, not trying to do anything too out of the ordinary that would deprive him of a proper skiing position. And that's at 22 off. That is John Crane. We'll find out in the fullness of time. Let's see what we can do. This is John Crane. This is at 28 off. Who is announcing on lake number 2. So John Crane on the water right now. It's at 32.3 miles an hour, 32 off. So there we go, and good effort there from John Crane. So decent effort there from John Crane, getting it all together. Getting a little bit pitched out at number 2, and he was fighting against the boat, and unfortunately that line got slack towards the end of the turn and pulled him right off of his ski. Been doing good, Troy. All right, then. So we got David Keller coming into the course at 32 miles an hour at 28 off.
All right, David Keller on the water, 32 miles an hour, 28 off. PNC out there around, oh my goodness, 5 at 1. Look how good that looked over to 2. Big turnaround 3.
Nicely done. Continuing to roll, keeping the ski out ahead of it.
Looks like he's going to be challenging John Crane with 2.5 at 32 off, our current leader.
Okay.
All right then, folks. We're continuing to roll right along very nicely indeed with our men's 8 slalomers. All right, and just couldn't really get it to go off buoy number 2. Tried his best. Unfortunately, came up a little bit short there. That is David Keller with 1.5 buoys at 32 off. 1 1/2 buoys at 32 off.
Our runner-up from Oviedo, Florida, Freddie Davis.
Well, these are our boys 1 slalomers on the podium right now. Jackson Stable, your national champion, up there on top of the podium. Very well done to him, and indeed to all of the medalists in that particular event. Taking a brief pause to acknowledge those medalists, and now we're going back to our next competitor. Chip Chipman is on the water now. 32 miles an hour at 22 off. All right, then continuing right along, we've got men's 8 slalom. Oh, and this is at 14.25 meters. This is Chip Chipman whipping that ski around buoy number 2, going cross court number 2. Look at this instant replay. If we slow it down just a little bit, handle up high, and just not allowing the ski to come up underneath him in the way that he would have liked. And it's going to be a 3 buoy count for Chip Chipman at 28 off. So Stephen Law at the moment. Nicely done. Opening pass. So Steve Law. Okay, my mistake, folks. It is 22 off for the opener there for Steve Law. He'll be coming back at 28 off. All right, so Steve Law on the water right now. This is at 28 off, 32 miles an hour. trying to stay on the tip of his ski, and he just got way too much on the tip of his ski. He just could not dig himself up out of that hole. A little flat-footed off the second wake into the buoy, and he just couldn't get off the back foot, and that was it for him with half a buoy at 28 off. That is Steve Law. All right, continuing to go right along. We've just seen Stephen Law, and now it's at 32 miles an hour, 28 off for our next competitor, Jeff Wiswall.
And our 2020 Goode National Girls One Slalom champion from Durham, California. Now
All right then, folks, let's continue to roll. We got medal presentations galore, keeping it going right the way along. We got on the water. We've got Jeff Wiswall coming back at 32 feet off the standard 75-foot line. Managing to take it across course at 32 off. This is Jeff Wiswall, and not looking too bad as he gets around buoy number 5. And he is our solitary competitor in this division so far to get through 32 off. He is your lead dog, and getting ready for 35 off. Coming up next, it's Jeff Wiswall.
Hey, here we go. Men's 8, Jeff Wiswall on the water, 35 off. Our current leader. Got one skier after him.
Okay, here comes Jeff Wiswall at 35 off, waiting up on buoy number 1, getting good to go around number 2, and little bit short on buoy number 2, but it is 1.5 at 35 off, and it is enough for the lead. With one skier, there's only one skier remaining who could potentially better that score, and that is Steve Raphael. Okay, continuing right along, as we got a little bit of time, let's mention our sponsors, HO, D3, Connolly, and Radar, along with Marine Power, OJ Props, Ski Safe Insurance, Masterline, and Shoulder Sphere. Webcast being brought to you by Splash Eye, along with Ski It Again, and the 5 regions of the American Water Ski Association, the the governing body of tournament water skiing in the United States. Okay, at 28 off, 14.25 meters, this is Steve Raphael. Looking all right on 28 off, but can't afford to put too much of a foot wrong. Put some grunt against that boat, and 32 off beckons for Steve Raphael. So not looking in bad shape. Steve Raphael as he gets ready to try and attack Jeff Wiswall's score. Troy is announcing the slalom on lake number 2. While I'm taking care of business on lake number 1. And on lake number 1, we have Steve Raphael coming back at 32 off. Here we go. Steve Raphael at 32 off. Trying to match Jeff Wiswall's effort of getting into 35 off, which he does so. Getting in a little bit deep, but managing to get every bit of those 6 buoys. Looks like a little bit of a breeze is starting to gust up, and that could prove to be problematic for 1 or 2 of our slalom skiers. We got Steve Raphael on the water. We got 35 off. Our national champion in men's 8 with that score. Whether it's 5 or 5.5, it's purely academic at this point. Steve Raphael, national men's 8 slalom champion. So well done to him. He finishes ahead of Jeff Wiswall, the only other person to get to 35 off in this section of the competition. And I believe we have a runoff for one of the other places, but we'll find out more information on that in just a short while.
I'm on a mission. No sweat in the way I step. I got a fresh new attitude. Oh my, my, my. Oh my, my, my. Call me a king. You can buy me a crown.
I've been skiing on the Energy R1 for a little over a year now. Before the R1, I was on the original Energy, and I was skiing great on that ski. I really had no problems with it, but whenever they released the R1 with the wider forebody,
to be able to get on that ski straight away.
Ever since I've been skiing on the D3 Ion S, I really like how the sweet spot is an inch bigger than the Evo, which has given me a lot more predictability in the course, whether it's calm or rough conditions. The way the ski feels makes me excited for the upcoming season.
I think a characteristic that most skiers can appreciate about the Ion is its consistency and predictability. I feel pretty confident coming into the tournament season that I can show up and score what I'm capable of because of this ski.
One of the things I've always noticed in my 11 years of riding D3 skis is that they are some of the most predictable and consistent skis that I have ever.
Taking my shot now, make you my background. I'm rising up now. I'm a back down.
Chip Chipman is on the water right now. On his max speed to 22 off. Looking good, Chip Chipman in the men's 9. We've got Chip Chipman coming into the course, and this is at max speed at 28 off. Max speed for this division, bear in mind. Stogner with the same buoy count, even though their scores ended up on different speeds and different line lengths. It's a very rarely seen situation, but it does mean that in order for the runoff, so imagine, so normally in the past, in order to go in on a particular line length short in 28 off or 32 off, you actually had to go in and start in at 2 at 32 off. I do beg your pardon.
Bettering his score with 2 at 32 off in the runoff. Now it's down to Larry Stogner. Let's see.
Shipman came into the course at 32 miles an hour at 22 off. So because Larry Stogner decided to go in with 32 miles an hour at 28 off, and then from there he can shorten, and then he'll be on exactly the same speed, exactly the same pass, or to affect the change on that run. Which means that Chip Chipman finishes above Larry Stogner in this division. So right, men's 7 slalom. We got Bradley Boyd to get things running in men's 7 slalom. This is a pretty heavy
Because today, you're in Louisiana.
All eyes on the way I vibe when I walk into the room. Wind blows underneath the soles of my brand new pair of shoes.
To get through this opening run, and unfortunately just not getting on the good foot early enough. Starting in at 43k, which is 26.7 miles an hour at 15 off. So, a lot of great skiing going on. We've got Bradley Boyd on men's 7 about to make its way back to the dock. Yeah, you tell me. So Pat Combs right now, brown buoy number 4. Can he make it outside buoy number 5? A little flat-footed, but he still manages to keep his composure. And yes, indeed, he gets through that run. Now, a little bit of a struggle, and it's not going to be made any easier by the fact that 22 off, he's going to try with the... So yes, and seeing Pat Combs right there and getting a little strung out. Continuing to roll, though, now bring in Pat Combs at 22 off, or 16 meters. Boat speed... Oh, man alive. He just couldn't get his balance going. And a pass on the jump there, which we see quite a bit here, just not on the slalom ski. So there... Getting round buoy number 3, gets the tight line and gets enough for 3 buoys. So now we have got our next competitor. It's going to be Keith Morgan at 22 off at max speed. Keith Morgan, skier number 3 out of 24 on this list. Ready round buoy number 2, getting pumped behind the boat. Look at him go round buoy number 3 and 4, and can he get round number 5? Cruises number 5, makes it round buoy roll. Morgan. He's at 32 off, looking to take the lead at this point in the proceedings. At 32 off, while we wait for the gate review to run its course. If, of course, Keith Morgan runs through 32 off and the gates are okay on the previous pads, it will be okay. If not, he's round buoy number 2 and not much more beyond that. It's going to be 1 1/2. 1 1/2 for Keith Morgan at 32 off, pending a gate review on the.
Coming in 38 off of round 2, round and 3 ball. Can he get over the ball?
Whoa! All right. And for the sake of expediency, we're going to go with our next competitor, and that is going to be Doug Kaiser. Momentarily. A lot of skiing going on, and then we've got 2 lakes worth of action here on Lake 1. We got tricks and slalom. The bonus, which slalom skiing will be featured on Lake 1. Conversely, there will also be some trick skiing that will be planned on Lake 2, and that will be a little bit. Got a change of a venue for our tricks in girls 1 and boys 1. They will be on through at 22 off now. We're at 28 off. So continuing to rock and roll here. We got Doug Kaiser. South Louisiana, was a resident of Baton Rouge and Baker for many, many years. And at 32 miles an hour, 32 off, max speed, shortened line length. Let's see what he could do in men's 7 slaloming. So a good skiing there from Robert Howerton, a 22 on Lake 1. Robert Howerton getting ready for 28 off from the opposite end of the lake. On deck at the moment, we have got John Abel. He too a resident of the great state of Texas. dropping the handle onto his inside a little bit on buoy number 1, which doesn't exactly help matters. A little bit late, and here comes John Abel now. Whoa, what happened there? No clue what happened there at all. To hit the course in just a few moments. And a little late into number 6, but by that time he had enough room to clear the pass, and he gets it all the way to go. That is William Massey. All right, here we go. This is William Massey at 32 off. I don't think he's made it outside buoy number 2. He doesn't even try to... Okay, yeah. All right, then. With 3 at 18.25 meters or 15 off. And that is the current leaderboard as it stands in men's 7 slalom. Looks like there's a breaker for some reason. And while we... to go in on a shorter line length pass at max speed. To go in on a shorter line length pass at max speed for their particular division. 28 off at 32 miles an hour for James Griffin from the West End. James Griffin, 28 off, in good shape right now, keeping the ski out ahead of him and looking tip top there as he gets ready for 32 off now. So, the green loop is being deployed now for our skier on the water. It is James Griffin. slalom skiing in men's 7. Paul D'Alessandro right now getting ready to go. And here we go, on the water right now, 32 off. This is James Griffin. He's at the wakes. He's in the lead right now with All right, then. So, for those of you that are tuning in, experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties so far as our internet connection is concerned, but we're back up, and we'll try and give you the scores for our men's 7 slalom skiers for those of you that missed out on them. Chris Lapointe is our next slalom skier. Now, she's certainly someone to watch. Chris Lapointe, a world-class slalom skier, and has been for quite a number of years. All right, rocking. So Chris Lapointe is our next combatant about to take to the water. All right, so at 32 off for the opening pass at 32 miles an hour, you are now watching Chris Lapointe. Oh, yes, look at him. On a ski of his own brand and looking very, very strong indeed. So that is Chris Lapointe. So Chris Lapointe doing the business out there on the slalom course, and now having gotten through a 32 off, he's now within about halfway down that 35 off pass of taking the lead. 1/2 of 35 is currently the lead, and for Chris Lapointe, that's certainly within his range. All right, here we go. This is Chris Lapointe. 32 miles an hour, 35 off now. Little bit of a hitch and a delay off buoy number 1, but it's not it's something that he's been able to handle before. Good snatch off for buoy number 3. Excellent. And our lead competitor in men's 7 slalom skiing is none other than Chris Lapointe. So Chris Lapointe doing some damage out there on the slalom course. Okay, here he comes. Chris Lapointe at 38 off, 11.25 meters. Oh, look at this. Takes a big old snatch there on buoy number 3. Keeping it going. Look at him go around buoy number 4. Nice hit there on 4. He's round number 5. He will not stop. He will never yield. And that is Chris Lapointe with a 6 buoy count at 38 off. And some battling slalom skiing there from one of the legends of the sport. That is Chris Lapointe. He's now going to have a try at 39.5 off. And brilliant skiing there from the master at his craft. That is Chris Lapointe. Safe to say he has taken the lead, and with gusto at this point. It is none other than Chris Lapointe. Yes, it's 39.5 off. All right, so here we go. Here we go. This is 39.5 off. 10.75 meters at 32 miles an hour or 52K. Gets a bit of a delay on there. Barely able to get round buoy 2. Will not get outside number 3. And that is an excellent score for Chris Lapointe at 39.5 off. So that is Chris Lapointe, his buoy count. Chris Lapointe, 62 buoys. Before we go on to our next competitor, Dave Preston, let's have a look and see where that puts Chris Lapointe in the leaderboard. And totally not a surprise, Chris Lapointe in the lead with 2 at 10.75. That's 2 at 39.5 off. James Griffin in second with 1.5 at 35, and there's your tied third between Keith Morgan and Doug Kaiser, and your 5th place is William Macy as it stands right now. All right then, skiing next is going to be Dave Preston. So our first score at 39.5 off in men's 7, we're not even halfway. Now with Dave Preston, we are. Skier number 12 of 24, Dave Preston. 28 off for his opening pass. 28 off, opening pass for Dave Preston.
All right, here we go. Next skier, Dave Preston on the water, 32 miles per hour, max speed, 28 off.
So here comes Dave Preston. Nicely done. Around 06 buoys at 28 off. So Dave Preston. All right, taking a look at our schedule. Quick revision there. Boys, trick in boys 1. It's going to be our final event on Lake 1. After we get done with this men's slalom event, men's 7. Lake 2, their final event is going to be girls 1 tricks, having to shift 1 or 2 events to make sure that we finish on time and that we don't run too late. So now, continuing right along, we got Dave Preston. He went in at 28 off. Now this is at 32 off. So now Dave Preston at the other end of the lake, waiting for the green light from the towboat, and and not too sure what's going on, but apparently there's an object in the boat path for our competitor. All right, whilst we continue to resolve the course obstruction, we'll take a little bit of a break.
This is a hat. You can get one anywhere, but today you're in Louisiana. You forgot your favorite one at home, of course, so you got this one and some change. You gave some of that change to the band who got your 2 left feet to dance, and a few dollars to a man who typed up a poem just for you. You saved the rest for a dozen fresh oysters and a Sazerac, one to feed your face, the other to feed your soul. The hat, it's your new favorite, because today you're in Louisiana.
All eyes on the way I vibe when I walk into the room. Wind blows underneath the soles of my brand new pair of shoes. I got the attention, I'm on a mission. No sweat in the way I step, I got a fresh new attitude. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. Call me a king, can you buy me a crown?
Mornings on the lake. The first time I got up and stayed up. Learning how to drive. Teaching our dog to swim. Long summer days, big sprays, and even bigger laughs. These are the moments that made up my childhood, that brought our family together, and the memories I'm now making with my kids. Being on the water isn't just something we do, it's who we are. Make your memories with Mastercraft.
All right, folks, those of you that were watching through the commercials on Lake 1 back to men's 7 slalom, we are exactly halfway through. We got Dave Preston, and had a little bit of a situation. He ran, I believe he ran what was it, through 28 off on that opening pass, and then got into a little bit of a situation with the looks like Dave Preston's going to come straight back in at 32 off. He could have actually gone back to the other end of the lake and went back in at 28 off, and then went to 32 off with the pass afterwards. That was entirely his own doing. But now he's going to come in at 32 off for this next pass from the opposite end. Straight up into the course, no messing about. He's going to take a pull out towards the left-hand side, and now slingshots himself towards the right-hand side of the towboat. This is Dave Preston. This is at 32 off at 32 miles an hour. Tries to go in a little bit deep. Oh, and gets around buoy number 3, which gives him a score of 2.5. And 2.5 would put him on the podium as it stands right now. So we're continuing to rock and roll beyond Dave Preston. Dave Preston there with 2.5 at 32 off. Taking a quick look at where we are, we've got, oh yeah, Mike Mosley is about to come into the course now. He's made himself a little bit of a water ski binding industry all by himself in Georgia. And we'll see what he can do with his MOB system. So we're continuing to run through the slalom event, experiencing one or two difficulties with delays and what have you, but had a loose boat guide a little bit earlier on, halfway, well, not even halfway into Dave Preston's set, and it took us a little while to resolve that. But we're now back on track, and our next competitor should be Mike Mosley in men's 7. But before we take Mike Mosley, it looks like we're refueling the boat. So as they take their refueling break, why not take a break with us?
All eyes on the way I vibe when I walk into the room. Wind blows underneath the soles of my brand new pair of shoes. I got the attention, I'm on a mission. No sweat in the way I step, I got a fresh new attitude. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. Call me a king, you can buy me a crown.
Okay, a 28 off for the opening pass. This is going to be Mike Mosley. Okay, coming in at 32 miles an hour at 28 off, it's going to be Mr. Mike Mosley. Entrance gates, buoy number 1. Looking good, looking in very good shape. A native of Georgia, out of Jasper in Georgia, the nearest major town to where he lives, over at Whitestone Lake, or Whitestone Lake as they call it. So, and as my good friend over my shoulder just told us, Chad Hunter, one of the announcers here, the owner of MOB Binding Systems. Special release systems, instead of releasing from the heel, it actually releases through the toe. And Mike Mosley seems to be getting into a little bit of trouble there before he comes in on the next pass. We'll get some more information on that shortly. All right then, folks. Looks like we got Mike Mosley at 32 off, 32 miles an hour. Number 1, and nice aggressive first third of the course. Now round buoy number 4, continuing to roll from one end of the course to the next, and a great looking run, a little bit flat-footed and driving towards number 6, but a good effort, and Mike Mosley will get ready for 35 off.
Back on Lake 1, Mike Mosley coming back out at 35 off. Dropping in for his gate. Nice turnaround 1 over to 2. Really slamming it at 2 and going down 1.5 for Mike Mosley.
Mike Mosley, let's take a look at this instant replay there for him, and this is at 35 off. Little bumpy going in towards number 1, tries to put the hammer down into number 2, but just sliding down course and slack And that score is going to be 1 1/2 at 35 off, 1 1/2 at 35 off, and that is Mike Mosley. Okay, so our leaderboard for men's 7 slalom, you see it right there. Crystal Point way out in front with 2 at 39.5 off. James Griffin and Mike Mosley in a deadlock with 1.5 on 35 off. That's 12 meters you see up right there. Dave Preston in 4th with 2.5 at 32 off. And Keith Morgan and Doug Kaiser in a tie for 5th with 1.5 at 32 off.
All right, we got George Lindy on the water, 32 miles per hour, 28 off. Nice turnaround, 2 over to 3. Bringing it in 4, a little bit of slack, and able to hang on to it, turning 5 over to 6. Good warm-up pass for it.
So our skier on the water in the men's slalom event on lake number 1. That is George Lindy. Taking a good aggressive approach there on the opening pass. I believe this was at 22 off. 28 off, I do beg your pardon. So, yes, we do get confirmation of green rope for George Lindy. 32 off is coming up next. That's because he was able to get through 28 off and make it not exactly easy. There were certainly 1 or 2 points where he could have improved upon, but he had enough of a lead into number 6 to where they didn't really matter too much. So there we go. That is George Lindy. Now let's see what he's got for the next run. On deck, we've got Kiefer Olberton coming to us out of Tallahassee in Florida, and George Lindy, a native of one of the northern states in the Midwest. I believe actually Minnesota. Here he comes at 32 off, in deep here. Let's see if he can continue to roll through this one. Oh, and taking in a big hit, and 1 hit too many there for George Lindy, and gets 5 at 32 off 5. At 32 off there for George Lindy, which puts him currently in 4th place right now. So we're seeing the little bit of George Lindy that we have remaining at 32 off now. You're looking at buoy number 4. Now at number 5, he didn't look too bad. Went into the edge change. Handle came up towards his nostrils and took the hit, and unfortunately didn't have enough time to recover to get outside buoy number 6. So there we go. That was George Lindy. Next competitor to go will be Keith Olberton. 32 off start. Skis out of Lake 38, just outside Florida state capital of Tallahassee.
Are we ready for boys 2 tricks?
And hailing out of Quincy in Florida, this is Keith Alberton.
Elgin Faulkner, please come to the award presentation area. Elgin Faulkner. Okay, here we go, boys 2 tricks. All right, you guys ready? In boys 2 tricks. In 5th place from Santa Fe, Texas, Lyric Pavor.
Whilst we wait for Keith Alberton to come into the course, Chris LaPointe still in the lead, 2 at 10.75. No change in second place between Mike Mosley and James Griffin. George Lindy throws himself into the mix with 5 on 32 off, and Dave Preston rounding up the top 5 with 2.5 at 13 meters or 32 off. So here comes Keith Alberton, 32 off. Now, here's the deal. If he gets all the way through this opening pass, then he puts himself in the top 5. Matter of fact, he will put himself in 3rd place, to the best of my reckoning. Actually in 4th place, there we go. That is Keith Alberton. That is a 6 buoy count. And that is on 32 off. A little narrow coming into buoy number 1, but had enough line control and extension coming through the entrance gates, making his way around buoy number 1. And getting a little strung out buoy number 2, though, but it's a pass that he's well used to completing right off the gut. And Keith Alberton, a native of the Sunshine State of Florida, getting everything he needs out of that pass. And living life in the sunshine there. That is 6 buoys for Keith Alberton at 32 off. On deck, we've got Dave Buckley out of Arizona. Dave Buckley, I believe, still skis outside of Crystal Point Lakes in Arizona, not too far outside of Phoenix. Keith Alberton is at 35 off. Getting more than 1.5 puts him in 2nd place outright. Here comes Keith Alberton. Look at, and a long pull. Cannot get outside buoy number 5. Instead, he gets 4 buoys. 4 at... So Keith Alberton with 4 buoys at 35 off vaults himself into 2nd place, therefore relegating James Griffin and Mike Mosley into 3rd place, and George Lindy is now currently in 5th, but way out in the lead is Chris LaPointe with 2 buoys at 10.75 meters or 39.5 off. So now we are in a situation here where we're skiers 17 of 24. We're really blasting through these skiers at this point, and we certainly appreciate them going in on shorter line lengths. It certainly reduces the amount of passes. Now, maybe they weren't necessarily doing it so far as for our benefit, so far as the scheduling was concerned. But maybe they're doing it for energy conservation, and we'll see if that's the case with Dave Buckley at 28 off for his opening pass at 32 miles an hour. Not looking too bad as it stands right now, Dave Buckley. Rocking it. One side to the next. Dave Buckley opens out with 28 off, and he gets through that pass without any problems whatsoever. Okay, we've got Dave Buckley in the course now. At 32 off, Dave Buckley trying to get that pass situated, and he does so. So excellent stuff there from Dave Buckley. We'll look at this instant replay once again. All right, so Dave Buckley, successful at 32 off. And now with that successful score at 32 off, that puts him in 5th place outright, but he's still got a whole bunch of skiing to come. So the returning at 35 off, it's going to be Dave Buckley. Okay, so okay, so now Dave Buckley at 35 off, getting the good start that he needs. He's round buoy number 2, a little bit of a slide there. He's round buoy number 3, continuing to keep the ski up on high. He's round number 4. He's getting later and later down course, but he manages to slip the ski outside buoy number 5. Gets round number 6, and there you go. That is Dave Buckley with a 6 buoy count at 35 off. Great skiing there from Dave Buckley. Okay, and whilst Brad Hartwell is standing by, we've got Dave Buckley on the slalom course. 38 off for Dave Buckley now. Oh, a little bit late on number 2, and looks like it's going to be a 1 buoy count for Dave Buckley. And just looking, oh, look at that. Once again for Dave Buckley, his edge change into buoy number 1. How on earth he was able to get that ski back down to affect the turn, I have absolutely no clue whatsoever. And Dave Buckley continuing to roll with this run, but just couldn't get outside buoy number 2. So there we go. That is Dave Buckley. We'll continue. We'll continue with our next competitor, who should be Brad Hartwell, who comes to us out of California. Okay, coming in at 28 off for his opening pass. This is going to be Brad Hartwell. So approaching the course now, 28 off. He's got some work to do to get to the higher echelons. Here he comes, Brad Hartwell. Nicely done at 28 off. Good extension, keeping some good rotation going, keeping his center of weight, center of balance over the tip of his ski. A nicely done opening pass for Brad Hartwell. A little bit airborne off the wakes into buoy number 2, but something he was well in control of. And they're showing us an example of how important it is to keep 2 hands on the handle well into the pre-turn. A mistake that a lot of beginning slalom skiers make, and if you're one of those, you're certainly welcome watching this national championship. The mistake that a lot of people make is as soon as they get through the second wake is they throw the handle towards the boat, and they immediately lose width, and in most cases don't even get outside the buoy. In Brad Hartwell's case, he kept that second hand on a little bit longer into the edge change, and the result was he skied better and was in a better position to run that pass. So Brad Hartwell is going to go in on 13 meters or 32 off. Hailing to us out of California, former firefighter by trade. And here comes Brad Hartwell. A little open in towards number 1, but managing to keep the flow going. At 32 miles an hour, the ski does sink a little bit compared to 34 and 36, which means he needs to... Oh, my word, and Brad Hartwell goes down in a dramatic fashion. He gets 3.5 at 32 off. All right, so we have got Brad Hartwell when he gets 3.5 at 32 off, 3.5 buoys at 32 off. And that is his job over and done with. We're now now we're at the point where we've got South Florida native George Levine, who met with us a little bit earlier on around the announcing position here for the webcast, and he wanted to remember that he is certainly skiing for Dave Goode, a pioneer in the sport of tournament slalom skiing. So now at 28 off. Here comes George Levin, skiing on that good slalom ski. Many of our competitors in this event are opting to go with one of Goode's slalom ski models. And nicely done. Good effort there from George Levin. And we'll take a look at this pass again on our instant replay. Men's 11, our slant. He is one of our last slalom skiers to go in this event. George Levin is skier number 18. 6 more to go, including himself. And at 28 off, pulling out an absolutely scintillating performance there. Good skiing there from George Levin at 28 off. 32 off, the green loop is coming up next. 32 miles an hour at 32 off. George Levin. And a lot of people in this tournament water skiing scene were definitely shocked at the passing of Dave Goode a little bit earlier on this year, and they're certainly skiing for his memory and his legacy in this event. And one of those competitors who is doing just that is George Levin, hailing out of South Florida. Here he comes, George Levin. Good edge changes, good cross-course action. Oh, getting broken over at the waist, however, and And down he goes with almost exactly the same score as Brad Hartwell not too long ago. Let's have a look at this instant replay for George Levin. So George Levin getting bound buoy number 3, got broken over at the waist and then just lost it into buoy number 4 and just couldn't get anything going there. So 3 1/2 at 32 off is going to be the score for George Levin. As we now work our way towards our next competitor, he is a native of Oklahoma, and his name is Mike Bray. We'll get his line length selection in just a moment. He selected 28 off for his opening pass. It's going to be 28 off or 14.25 meters for Mike Bray. So picking up Mike Bray now. Good stretch around buoy number 1 and number 2. Mike Bray looks very, very fit indeed. Has obviously lost a little bit of weight. Has worked hard to get in shape. And there you go. Some great effort there from for Mike Bray. A little dip with the handle, though, off number 1, which wouldn't have helped matters, but an experienced skier out of Oklahoma. This is Mike Bray. Skis at Outlaw Lake, a famous site among skiers in the South Central region. And certainly like his style out there. And a good effort there for Mike Bray at 28 off, now getting ready for 32 off for the next run. So, there's that. 32 off is selected next for Mike Bray, going with the rope schedule. There is a provision, of course, for slalom skiing of an opt-up should they decide that the first pass that they came in at didn't exactly prepare him well strategically going forward. So Mike Bray is taking 32 off with the tailwind in the hopes of putting 35 into the wind and maybe have a chance of putting himself on the podium as a result. Here comes Mike Bray. Here we go. Oh, Mike Bray getting a little bit out of shape there. Off buoy number 3 into 4, but managing to keep his upper body composure the same all the way through. Well, look at this again from Mike Bray. Now looking set to attempt 35 off. Mike Bray. So Mike Bray successful through that run and now getting ready for 35 off. Check if I'm pushing through something on John's, please.
I was all bundled up, you know?
All right, so that is Mike Bray, and that is at 35 off, and that has put him within striking distance of the lead. As a matter of fact, on the face of it, Mike Bray, because he scored 6 buoys on the 12-meter line, 35 off, he is now in 3rd place right now. But he has aspirations to ascend higher, and he can do that if he gets more than 1 on the next pass of 38 off. So at 38 off now, straight into the course, no messing about. This is Mike Bray. Round buoy number 1. Takes it round buoy number 2. He's got 2nd place at the moment. Can he get round buoy number 3? Yes, takes the tug off number 3. Gets round number 4. He's still on track. Up to a point, it's going to be 3 1/2 there for Mike Bray. He's certainly got a decent start. Okay, so Mike Bray getting pitched forward into number 4. And a good effort there. But it came to an end at 3 1/2 at 38 off, of 3 1/2 at 11.25 meters. Mike Bray swims into the shore and will take out. Here's a lower 3rd and instead replace it with the leaderboard. And as it stands with the leaderboard, Chris LaPointe is still in the lead, but Mike Bray now is in 2nd place with 3 1/2 at 11.25 meters, and there are the remaining scores on the board. Okay, skier on the water right now. We'll get the identity of that skier, and that is Will Bush. Okay, that was at 28 off for Will Bush. Looking in good shape at 28 off. Hardly surprising, really. An experienced campaigner. Skis over at Short Line Lake in just outside Sacramento in California. And a good effort there for Will Bush. He will advance through to 32 off. Our next competitor after Will Bush, he's on deck right now, and that is going to be Chris Kopecky. So Will Bush now is at 32 off.
What's the name of the first one?
Okay, here at 32 off, this is Will Bush. See how far he gets through. And keeping the ski very much ahead of him, and nicely done. Okay, so Okay, so Will Bush sitting down right now. 35 off is the blue line length. And he'll be approaching the course very, very rapidly in just a moment or so. You're watching the 78th edition of the Goode National Water Ski Championships. Okay, here comes Will Bush at 35 off. Should have no troubles with this pass. Let's see how far he gets. Round number 1 brings the ski hard round. He's on that D3 slalom ski and really working his way from one side to the next. Whoa! And goes inside with the handle and just overcompensated with that. So there we go. That is a Will Bush on that pass of 35 off. Got a decent enough start. Okay, so that was Will Bush, and he scored a 3.5 at 35 off. All right, we're down to our final 4 skiers. Chris Kopecky is our next combatant to hit the water. Just before we take him, a quick reminder of our leaderboard as it stands at the moment. This is going to be a very, very quick hit, so pay attention, folks. We've got Chris Lapointe in the lead. We've got Mike Brain second, Dave Buckley in third.
Scroll up. Just scroll that up. Scroll up. 1 second. We got one boat.
And there, Will Bush sits with 3.5 at 35 off on 12 meters. So now we've got our competitor on the water, about to take to water, Chris Kopecky. And coming in, I believe, coming in at 28 off for the opening pass. Nicely done. All the way through. One buoy to the next. Looking in extraordinarily good shape at 28 off, or 14.25 meters. Now, Chris Kopecky is now getting ready and set for 32 off. All right, now here comes Chris Kopecky. Nicely done. Looking to angulate that ski away from the handle and keeping his upper body moving down course Also try and keep that ski moving forward as well, because at 32 miles an hour, that ski does react differently compared to running 34, 36. So Chris Kopecky looking strong, looking in good shape. So So 35 off. $35 off for Chris Kopecky. Next run, let's see how he approaches the course on this next run. Good strike. Buoy number one, look at him go around buoy number two, keeping the flow going. Nicely done. Trying to work his way cagely, just not trying to do anything too drastic on each turn to detrimentally affect his run at 35 off. That's certainly the case here. We'll look at Chris Kopecky on our instant replay. Beautiful entrance into buoy number one. Good tight line, tight where he needs it to be, looser where it has to be for him to be able to whip that ski round. Little bit of a hit there on buoy number three, which could have cost him, but a well-experienced campaigner knows how to deal with 35 in these types of conditions and gets it to go. Little bit down course off 5, but he had enough of a lead to make that happen. So we're going to go to 38 off for the next run. All right, here comes Chris Kopecky. Chris Kopecky now on the violet line, 38 off. Certainly needs to buckle down here off number 2 and just getting round buoy number 3, getting later all the time. And I'm not too sure where he made it round buoy number 4, trying his best to sell it. And the judges having none of it. It's going to be 3 buoys, 3 at 11.25 meters. Looks like this pass is going to be under review, and here is the reason why. A slow motion going into buoy number 4. 3. And that is the reason. Did he get anything more than 3? So there is Chris Kopecky. We await the result of a review before we bring on our next competitor, who should be Daniel Womath. So Daniel Womath there getting ready for his attempt out there on the slalom course. I'm sure he'll probably go in on 14.25 meters. If he feels himself a little adventurous and wants to put 38 off into the wind, then he's going to have to go one pass shorter or decide to go with an opt-up halfway through his set. Right, whilst we wait on the gate review, And there is the current results as they stand. Chris Lapointe in the lead with 2 at 39. Mike Bray, 3.5 at 38 off. 3 at 38 off for Chris Krapecki. Dave Buckley with 1 at 38. Keith Alberton, the highest placed skier not to have made it into 38 off. That is a score of 4 on the 12-meter line or 38 off. So now our next competitor to take to the water is indeed going to be Daniel Womath. Going in at 28 off to begin proceedings. All right. Here comes Daniel Womath. 28 off. This is men's 7 slalom skiing, folks. Whoa, gaining all kinds of bother there at 28 off and just barely managing to get that ski outside buoy number 3. He gets it to go around 4, 5, and by the skin of his teeth manages to get through the opening pass at 28 off. Now, hopefully he'll have learned something from that about the conditions, about how this course plays. Bear in mind that this slalom course is typically not used in a tournament setting. It's normally the Lake 2 venue that's used primarily for slalom skiing, but because of the deluge of competitors entered in these national championships, the 78th edition of the Goode Water Ski Nationals, we've had to kind of like spread the wealth between the lakes so far as slalom skiing is concerned. We've even had to do that so far as tricking is concerned, which is why we're having boys tricks go on Lake 2 and girls 1 tricks go on Lake 1. So So Daniel Womath. .32 off now, 13 meters. You see up on the top left-hand corner of your screen our exclusive TWBC rope bug, giving you the line length in US and in metric, and thereby informing our good folks across the United States and the world exactly what the line length is at any given moment. Daniel Womath, he'll be back at 35 off coming up next. So Daniel Womath now. He's gone through 28 and 32 off. Time, for those of you that are wondering, is just a little after 5 o'clock in the evening, Central Daylight Time. And boy, do we have enough daylight to spare. Even taking that into account, it was important for us to separate the boys 1 and girls 1 tricks event between 2 lakes. So Daniel Womath right now, here he comes at 35 off. Look at him go. Oh, beautiful entrance into that buoy. Excellent turn. Getting on the good foot and how. Oh, it takes a break off buoy number 4. He's good to go around number 5. And number 6, he'll attempt 38 off, 11.25 meters next. Okay, as Daniel Womath concludes his run, here is your leaderboard in men's 7 slalom skiing there from 1 to 12. Got Chris Lapointe at the top of the pile, and positions 13 through to 18. We've got a few skiers left, and there they are. So Dave Womath right now coming in 38 off, and he's certainly going to affect the leaderboard at the top end, as he is one of the few skiers in this competition to make it through to 38 off. Oh, look at him go. He's still there at 38 off, and he try as he might to challenge Chris Lapointe's score. The best that he's going to get for that effort, it's going to be 4. It's going to be 4 at 11.25 meters, or 4 at 38 off. And Dave Womath, he is out in outright second place with that score. So Dave Womath not getting round the 5th buoy, I'm afraid. Try as he might to sell that, he didn't get the ski outside, so it looks like it's going to be 4. That puts Dave Womath into second place. We've got 2 skiers remaining. We've got Jack Mills coming up last, but before him we'll have Jack Everett. So be prepared to be jacked. All right, Jack Everett, 28 off, opening pass. Looking in pretty darn good shape.
All right, here we go. Jack Everett on the water, 28 off.
Good effort for Jack Womath on the opener.
Enjoys dirt biking, wants to be a famous dirt biker, motocross racer one day. Also enjoys video games, and of course. this COVID-19 and such a sad, sad situation, but it's turned out to be a fantastic National Water Ski Championship. Over 600 skiers coming from all around the country to compete. How great is that?
All right, here we go. Jack Everett back on lake number 1, 35 off. Nice start. This pass number 3 for him as he's out there around.
Okay, Jack Everett at 35 off, leaving him in peace a little bit for the opening two passes of 28 and 32, but at 35 off, he gets it to go. Nicely done. 6 buoys there from him. So we just started boys 1 tricks on lake 2. We're about to start girls 1 tricks on lake 1 within about the next 2 to 3 skiers, barring any kind of tiebreaker delays that would ensue as a result of 1 or 2 skiers tying with each other in the top 5. Certainly with the gaggle of skiers that are swarming around 4, 3.5, and 3 at 38 off, that could well be a possibility. Just hope for the sake of the officials that doesn't quite happen. All right, the violet line, 38 off. Here are the range of scores that he's looking for. To relegate Chris Kopecky into 5th, he needs to score more than 3. To drop Mike Bray into 4th, he needs to score more than 3.5. To drop Daniel Weirhoff into 3rd, he needs to score more than 4. And if he wants to take the lead, he has to run the pass and get more than 2 at 10.75 meters. This is 11.25 meters, 38 off. Oh, getting in deep off buoy number 1, but he's still on top of the ski, and he's looking in good shape. Look at him go. He is made of solid muscle, folks. Round buoy number 4. He is early, he is wide, and he is going to have a crack at Chris LaPointe next.
Skiing to go. Can he do it? Can he take the top ski?
All right, then. So we got a little bit of a situation here. In second place now is our skier on the water, Jack Everett. Obviously, he is in second place right now. He is 2 buoys shy of the lead, which is currently held by Chris LaPointe. Now, if they tie for 2, then there will be a runoff, a potential runoff situation, because even if the score of 2 at 39.5 off is relegated down for a tie for second, it is still a tie for a podium position. So Chris LaPointe, I'm sure, having skied about an hour and a half prior to this, is now looking out in the water to see if his score could well... Coming in at 10.75 meters. Jack Everett, oh, and it's going to be half a buoy.
Half at 39. It looked like he went to move that ski out after he released off the second wake.
Was that Everett Jack or
Everett Jack.
One more Jack.
So we have got Jack Everett there with half a buoy, 0.5 at 10.75 meters, which is half a buoy at 39.5 off. That vaults him into second. Therefore, it means that the only person that could potentially tie with Chris LaPointe and force a runoff, because there are no runoff situations in the top 5 at this time, as you can plainly see on our leaderboard right now. Even all the way to 5th, there is no tied scores. The only person that could produce a tie is our last competitor in this event. It is going to be Jack Mills. So half a buoy at 39.5 off for Jack Everett, puts himself in second place, assuring himself a spot in the top 3. Chris Lapointe is still in the lead, and he skied nearly 2 hours ago now, and should have put a time log as to when Chris Lapointe actually slalomed and given an indication from there. But Jack Mills, he's looking to try and put 38 off into the wind, give him a solid run on that particular pass with a little bit of stopping power to help him out. That's why he's going in at 32 off, and that's why he's looking in pretty darn good shape right now. That is 32 off for Jack Mills. So here we go, Jack Mills. This is 35 off. A little bit risky to put the wind at his back at 35 off, but he's thinking a little further ahead beyond this pass, and he's certainly a skier that can afford to do it. Of course, he could have gone in at 28 off and opted up to 35, but that carries its own inherent risk. Better to go with a shortened line length opening pass than risk all with an opt-up just for the sake of feeling a little more comfortable or being out of your comfort zone, you know, compared to 28 off start. So, Jack Mills, now let's see where we're at. We are at 38 off coming up next. I don't know if we can put the leaderboard up there to see what kind of scores that he's looking at, but we've got Jack Mills on the water. We'll wait until we see the instant replay on this pass of 35 off. It looks absolutely magnificent, and we'll take a look at the leaderboard. We got Chris Lapointe at the top, Jack Everett in second, Daniel Womath in Oh, here we go. This is Jack Mills. You just saw the leaderboard of the scores that he's aiming for, and this is at 38 off, 11.25 meters. Our very last skier in men's 7, taking a big old hit off number 4. Needs to keep his balance off buoy number 5, and he'll have a crack at 39.5 off next. So we got Jack Mills. He's gone through 11.25 meters, 38 off. Now there are only 2 scores that are currently above him. So Jack Mills technically is on the podium. He is currently in 3rd place, but should he want to get up even further, he needs to get more than half a buoy. That will relegate Jack Everett into 2nd place and put Jack Mills in that place. But in order for the title, He needs to get over 2 buoys at 39.5 off. Here he goes. Round 1. Okay, he's got second. Round 2, if he could get outside. Oh no, we're into a runoff situation between Jack Mills and Chris Lapointe. So we got more slaloming to come between Jack Mills and Chris Lapointe because both of them have tied with 39.5 off. Now Jack Mills going into this runoff is as fresh as a daisy. He's just come off the water having attempted 39.5 off. Chris Lapointe, on the other hand, has been off the water for about 90 minutes. And he'll probably have gotten stiff muscles and all that kind of stuff. We'll see which one prevails. Whether the one who's well rested or the one who's just recently come off the water. So. Okay, Jack Mills is our first competitor out in the runoff. That's been determined. And Chris Lapointe will go second. Each of the competitors, by rule, will come into the course at 32 miles an hour at 38 off. 38 off, which is the last completed pass. So a lot of activity behind the dock area. Jack Mills getting ready to go. This is our scene from the dock on lake number 1. A lot of buzz going around with that tied score between Jack Mills and Chris Lapointe. Have to wait a second or two because obviously Chris Lapointe needs to be located and needs to be alerted as to the status of this runoff. But wow, the only positions that we know that are absolutely certain right now are positions 3 through 5, those on the podium at the very least. Let's have a quick look at our leaderboard so far as that is concerned. There you see right at the top, tied at number 1, Chris Lapointe and Jack Mills with 2 at 39.5 off, 10.75 meters. Jack Everett with half a buoy at 10.75 meters, just good enough for third. And Daniel Womoth in 4th place with 4 at 11.25 meters, 4 at 38 off, and Mike Bray with 3.5 at 38 off. The positions from 3 to 5 and everything else beyond that are locked and set in stone. The first 2 positions, not so much. And there are remaining positions 13 through to 21. Just because we're being nice and we like to celebrate everyone who's slotted out there in men's 7. All right, so before we go on, a quick note of our sponsors. USA Water Ski and Wake Sports, along with Tri-Lakes, the local organizer, and Goode, the title sponsor of the Goode U.S. National Water Ski Championships for 2020. We got Nautic, Mastercraft, and Malibu, the official towboat partners of USA Water Ski and Wake Sports. Marine Power, OJ Props, Ski Safe Insurance, Masterline, Shoulder Sphere, and our ski manufacturer sponsors, HO Syndicate, Radar Skis, D3, and Conley. So Jack Mills, he'll be going in at 11.25 meters, his last clear pass. Okay. Jack Mills. Here we go. Entrance gates. Buoy number 1. This is 38 off the last completed pass that he had. Oh, look at this. Look at this. If he was taking a practice set, this would just be a mere extension of that. But this is the competition. This is the U.S. National Water Ski Championships for men's 7. And there you go, Jack Mills. So now we have got Jack Mills coming in at 39.5 off, 10.75 meters. Bear in mind that he scored 2 buoys on his initial attempt of that line length. And his initial attempt on that line length was from the opposite direction, I believe. So Jack Mills, 39.5 off for the runoff, for all the marbles. Chris Lapointe is on deck. He's probably hiding somewhere, but he's definitely around the start dock area. Here we go, 39.5 off, 10.75 meters. Oh, look at him go. Oh, and I don't think he got the ski round the buoy. Don't think he got the ski round the buoy by the time the handle came away. We're going to take an instant replay on this, and we're going to go at 75% for starters. The judges are reviewing this. No, not from my perspective. It looks like it's just going to be 1, and I think you could plainly see that the handle came away from his grasp before the ski had a chance to make it round the buoy. Therefore, 1 buoy. All right, now we've got the legend. Okay, so the judges agree with our viewpoint here in Webcast Central. It is 1 buoy at 39.5 off, and that is the target for Chris Lapointe. He's got to go out there after nearly 2 hours of rest. He's got to go out there at 38 off, 11.25 meters, cold off the dock and run the pass and then get more than 1. All without snapping himself in half. And Chris Lapointe, an absolute master so far as ski design and technique are concerned, has been doing this since the 1960s. Won the Open Men's Division in the National Championships when he was a teenager. And we'll see what he can do now in Men's 7. Here he comes. Buoy number 1, 38 off. Trains for situations like this. Not very often, but he does. He's round, look at him go. Look at him go. Round buoy number 4, round number 5, and game on! Game on. Chris Lapointe, 6 buoys at 38 off, right off the dock. So now we've got Chris Lapointe. He's gotten through 11.25 meters and 38 off. Now he's got to get a piece of 2 for the win in Men's 7. So for the win, he's got to get a piece of 2. So 39.5 off, 10.75 meters. This is not a given by any stretch of the imagination. I do not care who you are. You could be Benny Stadelbauer or Will Asher or Fred Winter. You have the skills. Oh, does he get round buoy number 1? Yes, he gets the win, and Chris Lapointe will sail back to the dock victorious as 2 buoy count at 10.75 meters, defeating Jack Mills, who scores 1.
Big score, Jack throwing his ski outside of 2.
All right, then. So, for the benefit of our webcaster viewers, you're looking at the tail end of that performance there, courtesy of Chris LaPointe. But I tell you what, Jack Mills, you pushed him. I mean, he'd been off the water for nearly 2 hours. You're as fresh as a daisy coming off. What was going through your mind?
Just trying to put the score out there where it make it harder for Chris to get. I thought I had to get to at least a 3, so I just got too aggressive at the start and made it a little too easy.
Now, you know how much of a legend Chris LaPointe is. I mean, how does it make you feel being out there doing battle with him?
Well, it feels good that I'm close, but I know full well that he's coming off injuries and stuff, that he's not at his full potential. So I think I'm nipping at his heels now, but that won't last long.
All right, then. So the best of luck to you going forward. You've won the silver medal, and skiing for Dave with one of his products there, with the XTR Carbon Core Ski from Goode. Certainly done him proud, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Not a problem. So that was Jack Mills and Chris LaPointe getting ready to celebrate, I'm sure, in men's 7 slalom skiing. For those of you that are watching our live coverage, we'll continue to provide live coverage. We're also providing you with an archive of this event. And we'll terminate that portion of the stream in just a moment. But we continue to stream live right here at the 78th Goode Water Ski Nationals. We'll take a quick break right now.